We will be discussing meal ideas. Meal ideas. Lots of families with children with additional needs are not sure about how to go about their food. That's because they have peculiar sensory needs. Some of them have sensory needs. Some of them are just, you know, textures are a thing for them. Some love it crunchy, some love their food mushy. I was just shooting a video earlier and I remember a parent telling me that one of the son refused to eat food because the pieces of food, let's say peas, were touching each other in the plate. So this child actually just wanted his food to be separated, into pieces inside the plate. So as a parent, if you do not know this, you won't even understand or appreciate why this child is refusing to eat food when they refuse to eat. So welcome to our live, Nash. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Today it's all about meal ideas. Meal ideas. If I could say, it's not just about, it's more like not just about meal ideas, but understanding the reasons why these are also even challenges. The challenges they have when it comes to meal. And hi Temilade, good to see you. Welcome. I just want to share this to as many people as possible. Hello, good to have you. Are you there?
Hi, good evening, ma. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good to have you on the YouTube. Welcome, Temilade. So today we are discussing meal ideas.
Thank you very much, ma.
Meal ideas for children with autism. We know that their challenges are not just Rudy Key. Thank you so very much. Thank you for being a part of this. Rudy Key, you're a top fan. Thank you. Thank you so much. So when we talk about meal ideas, we've already understood earlier on that they are not just like every other child. They are different. They are different in the sense that they are very sensitive. Things that may not bother other children will actually give them the shivers. Rudy K, thank you so much. I'm from Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That makes my day actually. It's 10 p.m. here. I don't know where you are. What time is it where you are? But here it is 10 p.m. Thank you, thank you. I do appreciate it. So what we are discussing is meal ideas. So if you do not have children like this, you might be wondering, yes, I understand that for children, for every family with children, yes, it can be a challenge sometimes to just find what to eat. But for whoa, India 2:40 a.m. I think that should be the case. I was in India in January, and I know. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not dangerous. We actually love white stories. We have a lot of them. Pedro, do you want to come to Nigeria? we actually have a lot of them. They come and they enjoy their time. I mean, they enjoy a whole lot in Nigeria. Nigeria is a very good place for tourists. So when we talk about meal ideas, we are referring to children who have sensory issues, and not just have sensory issues, but the sensory issues have actually made them to become picky eaters. When we talk about picky eaters, we are talking about children who barely accepts what you put on their plate. And if you have been following us, there was a day we looked at how this is affecting their nutritional status. And believe me, it's a very serious concern among parents of special needs children, because their sensory sensitivity restricts their food intake. And when this food intake is restricted, we have a whole lot of them, not having enough nutrients for their growth and development. So it is very important that we begin to address it. That a lot of families are struggling with food time, with meal time, because their children are picky eaters. And why are they picky eaters? Because of sensory sensitivities. So tonight we are looking at, is your home a place that when it's meal time, it looks like a battle zone? A lot of families, when it's meal time, the mother is stressed, the child is anxious, the mother is like, oh my god, I'm going to start it all over again. Some homes, you are still struggling with lunch and it's already dinner time. So such homes, so how do you navigate this pressure? How do you navigate this hurdle? Because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of food. You waste a lot of food, because sometimes you cook real food, spend good amount of money and prepare good food, and then your children refuses to eat it. It can be stressful, it can be wasteful, it can bring a lot of friction in the home. So tonight we are saying, if your home feels like battle zone at mealtime, please pay attention, especially if your child is on the autism spectrum, or if that child has sensory sensitivities. It will be good that you linger, you stay around and listen, because this actually might change a whole lot for you. A few tips here and there is how parents navigate their challenges with children with special needs. So tonight we are saying, we are going to be sharing strategies, life-changing strategies, and sensory-friendly recipes. You are going to have the opportunity to learn about certain recipes that would help your child who is sensory, who is a picky eater, to navigate their meal time and be able to take in more nutrients into their system to help them to, you know, have all they need for growth. Why this is very important is that children with autism already are needing extra nutritional support. And by the time they start refusing food, you can imagine what that is doing to the system that you want to heal. You want to heal the system, and the system is not getting the right food. Believe me, it all boils down to the fact that you are what you eat. So if these children are not getting the right food that they require for their body functions, it means the brain that you are trying to heal will not happen, because it doesn't have the right amount of food or the right amount of nutrients to carry out that healing process or carry out its major functions. Now we are saying, why does it even happen? Why does picky eating happen in children with autism? If you are just joining us, this is a channel that discusses autism, health, and nutrition. Everything about autism, everything about their health. I'm a public health nutritionist. My name is Ijoma. For the past 10 years and more, I've been supporting children living with neurodevelopmental challenges like autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, cerebral palsy, and even neurotypical children, because Now, about the topic we are taking tonight, even neurotypical children can actually be picky eaters. Even neurotypical children can actually be sensory sensitive. So tonight we are saying, is your child sensory sensitive? Is your child having sensory issues? Is your child a picky eater? You might want to stay back and listen, because we are going to discuss strategies and recipes. Now, back to what we are saying. What is the reason that these sensitivities happen in the first place? And we are looking at when children do not like textures, certain textures. We have come across children who refuse to eat food just because it's of certain texture. I know one, my daughter, for instance, if you know bean ball is akara. So akara is a fried food. You make the paste and then you fry it in oil. It's deep frying. So what happens is that the back of the akara, especially when it's of good size, the outside is crunchy while the inside is mushy. Not mushy, but yeah, a bit like food. So what happens is that my child loves to eat the outer part, which is crunchy. And this is the issue with a lot of children. We are still going to look at the strategies down the line. So this is one issue, that they like textures. Textures can be the issue. There is one situation where the child is particular about the texture of their food. There is also another situation where the child is particular about the smell of the food. Over the years in my practice, I have come across parents that tell me that their child would want to smell the food they want to eat even before they put it in their mouth. This is story from parents, but I also have this issue in my home. Years ago, when my child was a lot younger, everything you give her, she has to smell it before she decides whether the smell is good enough for consumption or not. So we have identified the texture. Now we are talking about the smell. Another reason could be that some children are affected by how the food looks. So in this case, the child may not care about the texture, the child may not care about the smell, but they want to use their eyes and carry out an appraisal before they decide if they want to eat that food or not. So at this point, we have identified three things that might make a child become a picky eater. The child might get picky eating because they are particular about the texture of the food they want to eat. Some are picky eaters because they are particular about the smell of the food they want to eat. Others might be picky eater because they are particular about how the food is looking in their plate, in the pot, or anywhere it is they are picking the food from. Now, I was saying about a parent who told me that the son wouldn't eat a food that is touching each other. You know, when you put things like peas or beans or any other food in a plate, a child will tell you that just because this beans is touching another beans, they wouldn't eat it. You can imagine if this child is non-verbal. If this child is non-verbal, and tell me, how is it possible that you will decipher on your own that why this child is not eating food is because they are touching one another? It's very difficult for you to come to that conclusion if the child is not verbal, if the child cannot tell you that this is why I am not eating. A child that is verbal, who is particular about visuals, will tell you that this is not looking nice. But a child that is not verbal, whose problem is not texture and whose problem is not smell, may not be able to tell you that because this piece of food is touching this other piece of food, I am not going to be able to eat the food. So the only challenge the parent is seeing is a child who just refuses to eat food. And if you spoke to such parents, believe me, you say, I have no idea why my son or my daughter refuses to eat food. I make this food as tasty. I was told to mash the food. I was told to make the food crunchy, that those are the things they like. Yet my child is not eating food. So you can imagine the frustration. You can imagine the stress. You can imagine the pain. That's everything you have done, everything you know as a parent, and your child is not accepting the food. Like I said, it can be difficult, especially if that child is non-verbal. Now, what we are saying is that if we are able to understand these needs, we can work with them and not against them. We can work with them, not against them. We can work around them. Take for instance a child whose issue is the texture. That means they may want their food mushy or they may want their food crunchy. You are not going to use that to work against the child. You are definitely going to use that to work for the child. You are going to look for ways that you can make that food palatable, nutritious, and still acceptable. So we are looking at solutions right now. We have identified that these issues can arise either because of texture, they can also arise because of smell, and they can also arise because of the look. So now looking at the solution, the first solution we are going to look at is ingredients. When you talk about ingredients, you are looking at what are the kind of ingredients that I have used in the past. Now we are assuming that this child is not verbal, yeah? So he is not able to tell you, this is why I'm not eating this food, or this is why I'm eating this food. So in that case, we say, what kind of ingredients have you used? Have you changed an ingredient? Are you using more of something else that they don't know about? Are you using less of something else that they love a lot in their food? When you look at the ingredients, you can think about using the ones they love and build gradually on it. Now, for instance, mark you, I am not recommending what I'm saying. I am just saying that these may be solutions to offering your child the right food. Now, take for instance, your child has come a long way just liking, let's say, chips and ketchup. You will not just wake up tomorrow morning and say, look, I understand ketchup might not be the best for you, so we are just going to throw away every ketchup and throw away every chips. No, these are ingredients, these are food, types that has happened to become your child's favorite. You can't just wake up and pull everything out. What you can do in this case is that instead of using the whole of inside of a potato or of the other white potato, you can choose to use sweet potato, which probably should be having more vitamin A, hoping that you get a red sweet potato. You can use sweet potato. Instead of buying sweet chips that were made commercially, you can choose to fry these chips in your home. There are so many advantages with frying that chips in your home. One major advantage is that you're using a fresh oil. You are supposed to be using fresh oil to fry the chips in your own home, as opposed to highly oxidized oil that could be used in the eateries. In the eateries, there's possibility they are using the same oil over and over and over, and there's possibility that they could be adding some certain chemicals that will make the chips non-sticky and still just put those oils, trying to put flavor out of the oil that is already decaying and oxidizing. So in your own home, you know what you are putting in that pot, and you are frying the chips in a fresh oil, knowing that oxidation, even if it is taking place, is highly minimal. So these are ingredients they already know. So you are using a better type of basic material, and you are using a better way of processing, which is frying in a fresh oil, and you're using chips that are made from highly nutritious version of chips or of potato. So looking at this now, are we seeing how we are working with what they have instead of working against them? You are using familiar ingredients, giving familiar food, but using a better type of version of ingredients, and also using a more safer processing method. That is just one example. There are so many examples you can use, you can do this with. Let's say, for instance, you are preparing beans for your child. Now, a lot of parents would maybe want to buy beans from cooked beans from maybe eateries, or now I'm going, local. If you are in Nigeria, you could buy beans that are cooked by the booker and all of that. You and I know that food ingredients that are used for commercial foods may not always be the best. On few occasions, I have eaten beans made by commercial food sellers, and you can perceive the smell of the oil they used. Sometimes you can perceive the smell of beetle infested beans. Believe me, beetle infested beans are no longer as nutritious as they should be, because the beetle practically has eaten up the protein part of their beans. Sometimes you can perceive the smell of, any other thing that is not just right in that food. But because they are commercially prepared, anything goes. So if your child, for instance, likes eating that bean porridge, and for some reason all along you've not had time. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate. Thank you. So, and for some reason you've not had time to be getting this food prepared by yourself in your home, you can use that, preference for that food, and be preparing the same type of food using fresh beans, using fresh oil, adding ingredients like crayfish, adding ingredients like fish, dry fish or fresh fish. Add it to that food that child loves to eat. If the child has always wanted to eat beans, use that opportunity. If he doesn't like them chunky, blend them. If he doesn't like to see them, just blend them and use them as base for that food that they want to eat. Don't just restrict yourself to the fact that, oh my God, I am so distraught, my child wants to eat this particular food every day. Yes, that might be the truth, but how are you using that as an opportunity to improve on whatever it is they want to eat, whatever it is they're always, desiring to have? Thank you so much. So that is one. Another thing is, for children that the smell is their issue, please, can you just reduce the flavor? I know us, I know Africans, we love flavors. We love flavors. In fact, we and flavors are five and six. There are these condiments that we use that if we are cooking here, people will perceiving it 5 miles away. Temilade, do you have anything to say about flavor foods in Africa?
Yeah, of course. So one common ingredient over here is very flavorful.
Yes.
Of course, our locust beans. That's
Yes.
Oduyope. Yorubas call it iru.
Yes, locust beans. Yes.
So a lot of times we either blend it into our soups, our stews, or we can leave them whole
Yes.
into the soups. Yes, and there's no way you would use locust beans in your soup and you wouldn't know that there's locust beans
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
It's
Locust
so
beans.
distinct and it stands out.
Yeah.
You definitely feel the taste, the aroma, you perceive the aroma. Yeah.
I just wanted you to highlight that. Nathan, thank you. You can have just one, but don't take 10 cans of lager beer. Just in a meal. Yeah, this
Oh
is
my.
somebody on YouTube saying that food pays well with 10 cans of lager. I didn't
What?
say that, oh, please don't do that. So, in Africa, we are good with flavors. Oh my God. In my own locality, Iru is more in the western. In the eastern, we have two different types. We have the Okpei and we have the Ogiri. So the ogiri is made by fermentation. It's basically the same process, but the other one is a little bit um, used wet, and the other one is used really dried. These two ingredients are made by fermenting locust bean. It's still locust bean, oh, but the process of fermentation and processing and blending are always like a bit different. But believe me, these are very, very flavorful. And now think of if your child on the spectrum is one that is really bothered by flavor, it can be a big challenge. So you are bringing this food to the table thinking, oh, I have done something wonderful. I have cooked the best meal in the whole world. And your child is upset, dissatisfied, just not happy because they don't like the flavor. So remember, we talked about children that are bothered by texture, those that are bothered by flavor, and those that are bothered by um, the look, the presentation. So if your own child is a child that is bothered by flavor, and then your food is always flavorful, and imagine if this child is also nonverbal, they can't even tell you what bothers them. It will be a long walk. It will be a long walk of frustration, anger, you know, dissatisfaction. Every time that you bring out food, your child will just refuse to eat. As a parent, you may not be able to understand why this child is refusing to eat my food. You will go ahead and prepare another and another and another, and he goes on to refuse time and time and time again. So believe me, it can be frustrating. And this is for children, this is for parents with children with autism, with children with sensory needs, with children with that are most likely non-verbal. It can be a big stress both for you and the child, because you are on one hand feeling like you are doing all you can to get food into this child, but the child is on the other hand feeling like, I don't know why my mother wouldn't just stop overloading my senses. You are either overloading their senses with the smell, or you are overloading their senses with the texture, or you are overloading their senses with your presentation. Now, you might just learn in one seminar or a program or a situation like this that, look, you have to present the food to make it colorful and make it attractive. What might be attractive to you might be overwhelming for them. You might see yourself putting like different types of colors in the same plate, like you put yellow, green, blue, red, and all that, thinking that, look, the nutritionist actually advised that diversity is good, but you are overwhelming the child's senses. So this is why it is very tricky. Now, another reason they might want to refuse food can be texture. We talked about texture. So in this case, if your child's refusal or picky eating is as a result of texture, you can look at blending, you can look at mashing, you can look at steaming food to make them, less crunchy. Now talk about something like carrots. Some parents, I did it, I still do it. I could just offer my child a piece of carrot, or sometimes I can just cut it into like little sticks like this. So some children might find it over crunchy to eat. And then the child comes back from school or wherever they went or whatever you presented it, and he says, I didn't eat it, or they didn't eat it, and you are frustrated. So in this case, what we say is you could actually just steam them. Just put them over some boiling water and let the steam get through them so they will be easier to chew, less crunchy. Now, I had a child that, luckily for the parents, the child could talk. And you know what the child told the mom that he's not eating? He said, some foods are too noisy when I chew them. That each time I am eating, my food is too noisy. Who does that? Well, the special children do it. A lot of special children, they have this particular thing that bothers them. And as we are trying to identify tonight, it could be color, it could be texture, it could be presentation, it could be smell. So if you are following me, are you thinking what I'm thinking? What I'm thinking is, how do we identify what exactly it is that bothers our children? How are you going to identify, especially if this child is nonverbal? If this child is nonverbal, how do you identify how to look after this child, provide him with the right kind of food, provide him with the right kind of texture, provide him with the right kind of color? Don't jumble things up for them, don't overwhelm their senses, but just get it right. How are you getting it right? So this is on the basis that we should understand that food is not just, it's not just a food, it's not just what's on the plate. It can also be as a result of the environment. What is it about environment that can improve food? Before I go on, I will tell you about when I had my research. We did an assessment of how many children that are affected by the kind of environment they are eating. And believe me, it wasn't funny what we found out. We found out that as much as 40% of children are affected by the kind of environment they eat food. Tebilade, do you have anything to put on this?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes.
Okay. So one thing that just should I say came to mind while you were talking was that I could actually relate these points to the five senses of the body:
Yeah.
smell, taste, touch, sight. And I was even thinking that could hearing also be part of it? Not until you now mentioned that some children, that a child complained that the food was very noisy.
Yes.
So it was just like making me realize that these factors are, should I say, based on these five senses majorly. So in addressing these issues, that means these five senses could be modified. Like any of these five senses could be modified. So that means it could be by sight, like you've mentioned earlier. Probably the food is not attractive enough to the child. So one needs to study what exactly is causing this issue. So if attractiveness is not the issue, if the food is attractive enough, then what about texture, like you said?
Yeah.
That is the way the child feels the food. So if that is the issue, it's possible those foods can be modified into different forms.
Yes.
For example, can you hear me, ma? For
Yes, I
example,
hear you.
beans over here.
Yeah.
We can process beans into different kinds of other food products. We have akara, that's the fried bean
Yeah, bimbo.
bean cake. We have moi moi, that's bean pudding.
Yeah.
Then we have different other food products that we can make beans into, such that you can still derive those nutrients. So if a particular form is not so palatable to the child,
Exactly.
why not try making it into another form that the child would also accept, yet the child will still benefit those nutrients. So if texture is not an issue, what about taste, like you mentioned earlier? Probably it's too crunchy, or probably it could even be that the food is too soft
Yes.
for the child.
Exactly.
Probably the child does not like the way the food feels in their mouth.
Yeah.
Then what about hearing? Like you also mentioned earlier, that some foods could be noisy. I've actually seen someone who said he doesn't like foods that give him stress to chew. Things like
Like
maybe
raw carrot.
chips or coconuts, or
Or
it
tiger
could even
nuts. Oh my god.
it could even be meat. Exactly. He said he doesn't even like anything that
Have
gives
you
him extra
chewed palm
energy to
kernel
chew. Just
before?
imagine. Can you? What did he say?
Have you chewed palm kernel?
Palm. Oh, of course. In the village, we
So
crack
such foods,
palm nut.
yes,
We
yes,
crack it with stone.
yes,
Ah, of course. Stuff like that won't even be palatable to some people because it's hard to chew. So people are actually different. People are different. So definitely what works for one person might not work for another. So just
exactly,
navigating your way around these five senses is actually very important. If it's not taste, it could be sight, that is in terms of appearance. If it's not that, it could be in terms of how maybe noisy, or
exactly,
should I say, yeah, that the food might be proud. It could also be in terms of sight, that's appearance, like we've said earlier. Yes, so just navigating one's way around this should provide.
yes, exactly. So when you look at, are you still there?
I can
Temilade?
hear you. I mean,
Okay, yeah, finish, please. There was an interruption.
I was saying that navigating one's way around these five factors that have been mentioned is actually crucial in tackling this issue of picky eating, studying what is actually causing
Yes,
picky eating.
yeah. You have just provided like a layout of a strategy for parents, and I really like it, because what I mean by strategy is that you can bring out these senses and start navigating them, like eliminating them one after the other. You can say,
Exactly.
okay, we have looked at, because I'm always putting into perspective children that are non-verbal, because we have a lot of these children who are non-verbal. So a child that's even telling you, mama, the food is too noisy, you are a lucky mother. Another child that will tell you, mama, I don't like the way this food feel, you are a very lucky mother. Or a child that tell you, mama, this food is smelly, you are a very lucky mother, because other parents are navigating this with a child who cannot even say how they feel. They only just have to
Uh-huh.
push the food away. So what do you do as a parent? What you have to do is, okay, we have looked at um, texture, we are good. We have looked at, smell, we are good. We have looked at, okay, but you will ask now,
Taste.
yeah, taste and but the question will be now, how do we identify the one they like or the one they don't like? Assuming you are a parent, you cook with onions, crayfish, iru, um I'm counting the things that have like small flavor. I'm tackling flavor now. If you are a parent that cook with these three
Ginger.
things,
Okay.
yes, are you going to eliminate the three of them for you to find out what the child wants?
It's actually big work. It's
Very
big
big,
work.
very
Yeah.
big. So I am just saying out there, if your child is not eating, if your child is not eating, you are not failing. It is not your failure. It is just you trying to, find out what is best. Because the point, what I'm trying to recreate here is for those who may not be in the picture to understand that you're not in any place to begin to judge these men, be these parents. You're not in any way to begin to feel like they are not doing enough, because only
Definitely.
them will know what they have done. Only them will know the
Exactly.
kind of how far they have come trying to
Exactly.
adjust,
What
remove,
what if some
add,
of them
navigate.
exactly? What if
Yes,
some of them have even tried all of what we have mentioned
I'm
and
telling
still
you, people will still try them.
and
People
still
will still try
yeah,
them and it will still not
exactly.
click.
So I think one thing that they can also do is to I want to believe that there would be some particular foods that this child would still like. They could
Of
be very
course.
few though. They could
Uh-huh.
be few, but one thing they can do is to try as much as possible to should I say complement their best foods with other foods, if possible, gradually,
Yes,
such that the child will still know that, oh, this is the main food I like, but other foods can be kind of infused into it.
exactly.
Should I say like a disguise kind of thing? Hopefully, the child will still like tolerate them. Hopefully, just
That
alongside their best food. Yeah.
Yes, that was what we said in the beginning. Okay, somewhere along the line, that if you identify these concerns, you don't have to work against them, but you have to work with them.
Yeah.
How do you work with them? Use them. Use whatever it is they are already eating and use it
Mm-hmm.
to encourage and begin to add other things that they are not eating, which is
Yeah.
where I gave example of, if your did I give that example? But I felt like if your child, maybe there are children who just prefers something like maybe pap. So instead of just
Mm.
pumping pap into plate and giving
Plain
them,
pap.
yes,
Mm.
mash banana and put in that pap, steam some carrots and put in, blend them, and they put avocado, incorporate other things into that pap. That's why some
Yeah.
mothers, they put things like crayfish, red oil, stuff, or soybeans for those who are getting it right. Put all these things in the child's pap, and you will see
Mm-hmm.
that your child is not just getting only that pap. You are using that pap as a vehicle to
Mm-hmm.
introduce.
Fortified pap.
Exactly. Actually, let me do a small unpaid marketing. I have a friend in Lagos. She was my classmate in the university. She actually graduated with first class. And what she does
Okay.
is fortified pap. She takes pap and she adds things like almond. She adds things like beets. She adds things like, carrots, many things
That's
that are good
nice.
for
Yeah.
children. And
Yeah.
she makes this, she makes it real pap fermented, and then she uses is it desiccator? She
To
uses
dry it.
to dry it, and this is a drying method that ensures that the nutrients are still intact. So this is
Okay.
what she does. She goes through the extra mile because she studied food technology with me. She was my classmate. So, and she came out with first class. So if you want pap that is nutritious, that is fermented, I have said it severally that it is better that you take fermented pap rather than just dry cereals. Please look for Kume Foods. Kume Foods, Kume. Look for her foods, look for her pap for your child. So you can be giving your child fortified pap, not just ordinary, carbohydrates. Anyway, that advert
That's
was
cool.
not paid, and
Yeah. She'll be happy to see this.
I'll be happy if you can just use it and find your child the best type of food. Now, going back to what we are saying using what they like as a vehicle to provide what they need. And that you have just highlighted, Temilade, that you can just use what it is they have to be able to offer them what you want to offer them. If your child likes akara, for instance, what I do when I'm making akara, I add things like ginger, I add things like turmeric, I add things like garlic, I add things, here and there. And you are seeing
Ah,
yourself,
Kara, don't they go avado?
you need to eat it. So, well, in any case, I already have that paste. I make the paste which you will drink like tea, turmeric, ginger, and garlic. So when we make the tea, the chaff that comes after the tea has come out. We don't throw them away. We use it to cook things like beans and yam. We use it to cook things like akara. We use it to mix
Okay,
akara.
chaff of what? I didn't get that.
Okay, you buy fresh turmeric, you buy
Okay.
fresh ginger, and you buy fresh garlic.
Okay.
You blend them in a blender, adding a little bit of water to make it like a paste. So when you in the morning when you wake up, you want to drink tea, you put this paste in a sieve. It looks like a sieve. It's like a drainer, like it's just small, like
Oh,
a
so the
hair.
residue you use it to
Uh-huh.
make other
So
stuff.
you put it in your cup of hot water and the water comes out and then you are drinking it as tea. But there is this solid residue that comes out from that process. So you keep that solid residue. Let's say that evening you are preparing beans and yam as dinner. So you use that solid residue and put in that beans and yam, and it becomes a
Just to get
spice.
the maximum benefit from
Yeah,
it.
not just maximum benefit. In the kitchen of a food scientist, nothing goes to
Nothing
waste.
goes to waste.
In the kitchen
Yeah,
of a
I
food
understand.
scientist who happens to be a nutritionist, nothing goes to
Don't
waste.
run off.
So that is it. So something like that, you can use that method to introduce spices that are nutritious and nourishing to your child. So this is about using food, using what they love as a vehicle to introduce what they require, what they need. Let's say your child is really hyperactive. You know what these spices can actually do for that child? The same spices will help to eliminate the bad microbes because of the garlic. The same spices will help to reduce inflammation because of the turmeric and combined with ginger. So the same spices will first of all try to eliminate microbes and at the same time reduce inflammation. Meanwhile, aside introducing it that way, it might be difficult for you to just get it in a spoon and feed this child or try to offer them in different ways. Anyway, this is just an adjunct. We are going back to how do you prepare the environment? How do you make the environment such that the child will be able to accept the food? Now we are looking at reducing the lighting. You see where I am, the light is really bright. Some children do not like the light. You see this? Oh, this is calm, right? So if it is,
Mm.
eh? Did you see the change, right?
Yeah, I saw the change.
Yes.
Okay, does that affect feeding also,
Yes.
or eating rather?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of them, if your dining, for instance, is a place where light is everywhere these days. I personally, I love lighting. So some children identify the dining as a place where the light is overwhelming. Of course, if you are
Okay.
eating, you would like to see the food you are eating. So the
Yeah,
dining is
definitely.
usually a very bright place, you want to see, you want to know what is in your plate. So but a lot of
Yeah.
children might identify that as an overwhelming, a stimulating environment. There
Mm.
is also sometimes you may want to put a very low music. I know very many homes where there are speakers in the ceiling, or
Mm.
there are speakers on strategic places like the dining or the kitchen or the bedroom. You have
Okay.
speakers that small music will just be seeping into the environment. Sometimes
Okay.
you don't know how far these things can go in getting the
Mm.
children to actually do what you need them to do in that space.
Mm.
Like I
Mm.
said, during my research, we found out that a lot of children would eat if the environment were to be, modified.
Mm.
Yes, a lot of them, they eat better if you modify the environment, make it lighter, calmer, make it not too
More
bright.
inviting.
Yes, inviting, place some stickers. We use this a lot when they are doing
Okay.
potty training. Yes, it's true. You put portraits of nice dishes, colorful, nice children playing or eating in an open park. Oh, Temilade, you are
That's
laughing.
nice
This is
too.
real. Do you know that a lot of children on the spectrum, when they are doing
Yeah.
potty training, the only way that you get to potty train them is that you go to the toilet and place uh, big posters of puzzles and maybe Winnie the Pooh, or
Okay.
yeah, a
Like
giant
something to
poster
get
of
them,
their cartoon character. That's the
something
only
to
way
like
they
get
sit
their
down in that
attention.
toilet. Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. We
Okay.
do it a lot with children with autism. If they are refusing to
Okay.
be potty trained, you go to the toilet
Okay.
where they potty train, the toilet you want to use for
Mm.
the potty train, place a very gigantic poster of their favorite
Mm.
cartoon character, even
Okay.
at the back of the door, or just what
Just
they are
something to
facing.
grab their attention
Yes.
and to
So
make them want to stay there.
they will sit and be watching
Oh.
and watching, and before you know it, they also want to go in because they want to see what they want to see, because
Oh.
there's something there they like to see.
To
So we
see.
also use this for feeding. So in your
Mm.
dining, if your child is the type that refuses food, in your dining, you can put a big poster. We don't encourage something like television because it's distracting. It is too distracting.
Mm.
Although some families choose to put television so that the cartoon will be playing when the food is placed in front of the child. A lot of parents already use it anyway. They bring music and be playing for the child, and the child is distracted from the food before they eat. If that food is not playing, the child will not eat that food. So these are strategies you can use. You can use calming music, you can use nice pictures, you can use many things that can make the space more inviting.
What about
Then
family eating? Eating together as a
yes,
family.
that's a very beautiful one. We were going to come to that because it
Alright.
serves a lot of purposes. But yes, let us hear from you.
Okay. So I was just imagining that What if there is a setting whereby every family member sits at the table,
Exactly.
including the child, and the child watches every other person eating the same kind of food? I think that might motivate the child to eat the food, not wanting to be the odd one out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that works, especially if you are intentional. Intentional in the sense that you bring, let's say, this is my plate of food, and then I bring this plate of food, and I'm like, oh, this is so yummy. Hey. You may
The
want
child
to
wants to
talk to
taste
them.
what I know the child wants to
Yeah,
taste what you are calling yummy.
curiosity kills the cat. They say curiosity kills the cat. So
Yeah.
you may just, oh my, this is so yummy. And everybody is eating. The mom is eating. The dad is eating. They will just sit like this. What's going on here? Why am I not the only one eating this very yummy? Let me even find out what it tastes like.
What is yummy?
Yeah, before you know it, the child is eating. So it works wonders. The only issue there is that in today's world, seriously, how many families actually get to do this
At
as
the
often as
time.
it should be done?
Mhm.
Yes, but please, it's a very good tactic. If families can afford to, it's always advised that you eat together, because when the child is watching you, when the child is watching the siblings, when the child is watching everyone. I remember in older days when parents, when a child is maybe an only child, or visiting an older couple, what they do is that they actually take the food to a family that have many children.
Mm.
uh Even though it's the mom that cooks it, but he would take it to the family that has many children, so that when the child is seeing the other children eating, they usually will just eat. But when they are back in their own home where they are the only child, they refuse to eat.
To
So
eat.
that is an old age long tactic that, in the company of others, children tend to feed better, children tend to accept food more. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, with children with autism, there is routine, there is issue with routine. If you know them very well, you know that most of their therapists are always recommending, oh, make sure you're doing this at this time. So their brain is wired in such a way that they know that it is at this time that food happens. I'm not telling parents not to do this, because I refused to do that while we were in Nigeria. Why? Because nothing is regulated. You understand? They usually teach them that yes, the time to get ready for school is this, and the time to enter bus is this, and the time. Okay, in for a Nigerian child, if you train him like that and then he comes out and the bus is not there, he might take a walk. Or if the bus comes and everybody is fighting for the bus, and for the next 1 hour he's not able to get to bus, he will just wander off or get dysregulated.
Mm.
But yes, that is an approved method of training for them. Stick to routine. Let them know that at this time is when food should be eaten. So, and they are very good with timing. You can see a child with autism that when it is time for, it's as if they have clock in their head. My daughter, when she's on a therapy, she will say, Miss Esther, I'm tired. And then the sister is like, why are you tired? You look at the time. If you look at that, you will realize that that's exactly the time you're supposed to end that therapy.
Wow.
They are like clock. 80% of them are like walking clock. They can keep to time. So
Wow.
normally, therapists usually recommend that you make their life routine. You create a routine around them so that they know what to do, when to do it. And it works for those who who are strict with them, it works. So when it comes to this food, we are saying that a lot of them associate feeding with a certain time. So if you are providing them anything food outside that time, you are wasting your time. Yes, it's true. Or if they don't eat at that time, they get a meltdown. They get dysregulated because they are supposed to eat at a certain time. So it's beneficial in one hand and demanding in another hand, because you have to make sure that that child gets that food at that time. For them to be able to feed well, they need to be getting the food at the time they are supposed to eat that food. Now another one is they love to be celebrated. A lot of times parents are not just satisfied with one thing. I know myself for that too. I don't settle for less. Let's say you have a plate of food and it is your intention that this child finishes this food, and the child collects one and they're like, oh yeah, take the next one, oh yeah, open your mouth, that child feels like unappreciated. Especially a child who has been on therapy. If that child has been on therapy, that child is used to being praised for doing one single thing. That child is used to being told, oh, you're doing great, keep it up, that is the job, well done. And then you are just bringing food and saying, mash it, eat it, oh yeah, open that mouth. So in this case,
Force feeding.
yeah, what do you say?
I said force feeding.
It might not necessarily be force feeding, but insisting that they eat. So, but here we are saying, even if it's just one bite they took, celebrate it. They love to be celebrated. So I remember when we were eating, we'll be like,
I mean, who doesn't even love to be
oh
celebrated?
my God, you
Everyone
just
loves
took
to be
one
celebrated.
spoon. You will dance and rejoice and praise. What were you saying, Temilade? Sorry.
I was just saying, generally, who doesn't even love to be celebrated? As humans, we love to be celebrated.
Exactly. We love to be celebrated. But these children, DS is out of the way. For you to get them to do something, sometimes you have to dance like a mad person. You will dance and praise and sometimes you even have to give physical gifts to celebrate.
No.
Yes, that is therapy for them. So always celebrate, even if it's the smallest bite, and you will see your child wanting to collect more. There is also this part about getting them involved. Everyone loves have a sense of productivity when they are participants in producing something nice. So if your child is a picky eater, the best you will do for them is, if you are shopping in a place that is safe and child friendly, take them to shopping, grocery shopping, take them along. Ask them to pick, oh, what is this? Carrot. Can you pick the carrot, put it in the basket? We are picking a carrot, we put it in the basket. We will take it home and make a yummy meal. In fact, I just forged this song now, and that's how we forge it. That's how we forge it a lot of times. So you have to be active, innovative. You have to be really innovative
Creative.
and creative. So involving them in the food process, you take them to the shop, let them pick the food at home while you're cooking, ask them to pick it, ask them to peel it if they can peel it, ask them to rinse it, just ask them to pick it up and bring to you.
Involve them in the cooking process.
Yes. A lot of times if you involve them, you will see this joy of, I am eating what I participated in creating. So if you just, oh Junior, food is ready, come and eat. For them, it's actually a disturbance. You are disrupting their process. But if they were part of the process, set the table, go bring the plates, put it there, get the cups. We made it together. Look what we made, Mama. It's so yummy. So they build the trust, they build, that sense of ownership, makes it such that they also want to be a part of the enjoyment. So that is about that for today. We have understood that there could be sensory needs, there could be needs in terms of flavor, there could be needs in terms of sight, how the food looks. And we have looked at simple ways you can use to, modify what they eat regularly to be able to incorporate the things you want them to have. And we also will look at how you can create calm and positive meal times by modifying environment, engaging them in the process, or eating together, just like you suggested, Temilade, and creating that coziness around food. Make it funky, make it attractive, make it fun. Let it not just be the time that the mama is chasing the child around the table, forcing them to eat. Let it be a time of bonding, a time of satisfying curiosity, a time of feeling among, or a time of, enjoying their productivity. So, do you have something else you can tell us, the audience, Temilade, before we take a zap?
Actually, we've said a lot tonight.
Yeah.
It's just a word of encouragement for anyone who might be going through such phase currently, because like you've explained extensively, it could be a big task, a big work to do. I mean, addressing issues of picky eating and all of that, but just encouragement that with more patience, and well, definitely they are even patient enough, but just with more, should I say, work, consistency,
perseverance,
and attention, there would be improvements. Yeah, there would be improvements. Yes.
Everyone, don't forget we have a flip book, a playbook of a guide for parents of picky eaters. That book is so much fun. It explains what causes picky eating, which is more like gut-related situations that might make a child not to eat, because there's usually more than the eyes can see. We talked about intestinal conditions, we talked about possible allergies, we talked about so many things that might be making a child not to eat that are internal. You don't see them physically. So check the book on TikTok shop. It's on Amazon. It's on our bio, the shop and our bio. It's everywhere. The Magic Tummy Garden. That's the name. Magic Tummy Garden. Look through your Amazon, TikTok shop, our shop on the bio, and you will find this book. This book is invaluable because you understand how important it is that your child gets the best of the nutrition. Because whatever you think you want to modify, whatever you think you want to support in their body, can only work if you are supplying the body the right nutrients. And how do you do this if your child is not eating? If your child is not receiving the food they need, how will you help them to grow? How will you help them to receive the right amount of nutrients? How do you help the body to heal and to support it in its processes? Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you here. All my good people on YouTube, all my good people on TikTok, such a pleasure sitting here before you. I hope you got one or two things. If you have questions,
My friend
our
didn't join tonight.
eh?
I said our friend did not join tonight.
Oh yeah, Israel, he didn't join. If you have questions, you can always reach me. My DMs are open. I have my contacts on my website, on my YouTube, on almost everywhere. You can always reach me. We work with parents, we work with children to look at everything going on the inside and how we can use food and other nutritional and health approaches to make life a little bit more comfortable, more bearable for the children. Thank you so much. I gotta go.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night. Have a
Bye.
good Sunday.
Yeah, enjoy it. Bye.